Hey there, everybody. I don't know who all we got watching so far. It looked like we had a few. There we go. Looks like we got 6 and 1 thumbs up so far. I haven't been on in a while. I figured I would jump on and do a live stream for a little bit. It's been over a month. Oh, we just lost 2. Um, it's been pretty busy, and in all honesty, I have just been overwhelmed with not only YouTube stuff, but trying to take care of stuff here and work, and um, just time to take a break. So I'm also a moderator on the Cranes Are Awesome Facebook page, and myself and about I think 6 or so other people are on a group chat. Most of them are in Australia. I think there's one fellow from Denmark, and we just group chat occasionally. And I told them on there last weekend, I'm like, I've got to take a break from some of this stuff. So, and I know to you guys, it probably doesn't seem like I've got a lot on my plate. Just the fact that I'm like uploading once or twice a month, and actually, what was it? February, I didn't even upload anything, maybe one thing, but I stay pretty busy. And there are times when I have to just kind of push things to the back burner. And so one of those things typically is YouTube. Jacob Metcalf, how are you doing? So, in light of everything that's going on right now, we may or may not have some off time from work. So, if that's the case, I've got about, I must say, close to a terabyte of video footage to edit. So, there's plenty of footage for me to put out there. So it's not like I don't have the footage. It's just a matter of getting it all done. John Warren, how are you doing, John? Taylor Aldridge, how are you? Videos by Al. Says no apologies for letting YouTube slide. T. Woody, how are you? Mike Manfred, how are you doing, Mike? Tell Charles I said hello. So I don't really have anything on mind to really talk about. I mean, everybody knows about the elephant in the room that's in the forefront of everybody's thoughts, but it's not like I sat down and made a timeline of topics that I want to talk about. So we're just going to wing it, kind of off the cuff here. Lakeside Ranch, how are you doing? Walter Matson, how are you doing, Walter? This is nice to see you again. So, Josh Wellner, how are you doing? John Warren says, I'm doing good, trying to avoid everyone. I think that's kind of the general consensus right now. Frank Hartmeyer, how are you? The Mud Racer Full. What's up, Jimmy? Are you guys working after Monday? So, I mean, I guess we just as well dive right into the elephant in the room, right into the main topic. This Corona thing. As far as I know, we are considered an essential business. And the reason being is we provide support for utility companies, telecommunications, infrastructure, etc. And we also take care of construction projects that are related directly to those things. So I'm guessing that we'll probably slow down, but I'm sure I will still have to go to work. So in the morning, I've got the crane set up on a job, so I will be working tomorrow morning. I know we've got a cell phone tower job coming up. Woohoo! You know, that's another 300-foot cell phone tower. We've got a unit on a building that is being built. It's going to be kind of a tricky setup and a tricky pick, so I'm definitely going to record that one. Yeah, we got to set up in the middle of a 2-lane street. It's 31 or 33 feet from curb to curb. The building height's about 118 feet. So we're going to have to pull the jib off at our shop and install it with another crane, and then get the crane set up in the middle of that street so we can set a unit that's 70 or 80 feet back on the roof. I won't be able to see it. It's going to be a lot of up and over like this to try to set this unit. So we'll see how that goes. But let me try to get caught up on some comments here. John Warren says, doing good, trying to avoid everybody. Frank Hartmeyer, hello. Let's see. Warp 65 are stocked up on TP. Actually, My wife buys the toilet paper at Sam's in the big packages, and we got one right before all this chaos hit. So we're still good. So I don't know. I think we've probably got about 25 or 30 already. Josh T, it's snowing here in central Iowa. It was snowing here this morning, a little rain and snow. Walter Matt's doing fine. We still have snow to help kill germs. That's good. Lakeside Ranch says all good here, no sickness. Justin Heil, how are you doing? Taylor Aldridge, Jimmy, did anything good crane-wise at ConExpo? I didn't see too much new stuff. Nathaniel Lee, how are you doing? Long time no see. Dave G, how are you? So I didn't make it to ConExpo. I really, really, really wanted to. There's a few reasons why. One is we had work going on that week, and being the only one that operates that specific crane, when it has to roll, I have to make it roll. So, there's that. And then the other part was with everything that was going on as far as this coronavirus thing, I did not want to put myself in the middle of ConExpo. And I know at the time there wasn't a lot of it in the country, but there was people traveling to ConExpo from all over the world. And I know it kind of sounds like I'm a sissy for not wanting to subject myself to that. However, here's the catch to that. My wife's a medical provider. So if I were to expose her to that takes medical care away from our local community. So she would have to go into quarantine. Everybody around her would have to go into quarantine. I could single-handedly remove the medical staff from a medical clinic that serves a community of 6,500 people. So I have to be very cautious with this whole thing and try to keep my wife safe from it. So anyway, Mike Manford said, I don't have a choice. He's deemed essential. Mary, hopefully they give you good direction when you can't see. That still amazes me. I don't mind taking signals from people, so I'm sure they'll give me good signals. I'll probably have Mike on the roof. Dickard with Dave. How are you doing, Dave? Sitting around the fire watching Jimmy. Woo. Hope you're doing well up north. Zach Porter, hello from Missouri. Says hi from Texas. And I've got two brothers that live in Texas. Mustafa, new to chat, but been watching your videos for a while. Stay safe during this craziness. Thank you. Billy Laptop, thank you for that. Man, every time you do that, it gets me. Taylor Aldridge said, I know Volvo pulled their people out. I didn't want to subject myself to it either. Mary, not a sissy, just smart. Top 10 films on Brazil. How are you doing? Justin House says, hope everybody's feeling well from the coronavirus. That is a crazy thing. Tristan Mays, how are you doing, Tristan? Says all going mental in UK right now. Yeah, lock yourself in your glass box, buddy, because from what I've seen that's going on over there, it's pretty bad. And I mean, it's getting bad here. I'm not really a numbers guy. I guess I kind of am. Being in the crane world, we deal with a lot of math. But I sat down and started doing some calculations on this whole thing last Thursday, and I predicted that the United States would be right around 30,000 or so cases by Sunday or sometime around Sunday. And lo and behold, here we are. And if some serious things don't change, the numbers that I came up with that would end up about 27 days from now, it's going to be catastrophic. So hopefully everybody gets the hint and changes their thought on this thing. Soldier of Dirt, how are you doing? I saw some of your pictures and you sent me a message on Instagram. You're like, man, I wish you could be here. And I really wish I could be. I wish I could have been. 2023, let's hope that there's nothing like this going on. I guess it'd be 2024, wouldn't it? That the next one will be. Let's hope that there's nothing like this going on, and I'll put my time in off from work a year in advance and see if we can make it happen. But he said, yeah, Soldier of Dirt still attended, no symptoms or anything, just trying to deal with the rain. Tristan Mays, yeah, pretty bad ring out of toilet paper. Taylor Aldridge said Senator Rand Paul just tested positive. I saw that. Frank Hartmeyer says, I went to Con Expo. It was good, not as crowded. I'm getting a call from my son's school. My wife will get the same call. John Warren says 2023, so that's the next Con Expo. Let's shoot for that. Meds get locked and loaded, go to the bunker and defend. Kingdale says, guys need advice, man. At age 27, UK, last few weeks, I've been chatting to a Ukrainian woman online. I fell in love. Yesterday, she told me they're going to cut her internet. I think she's going to ask me to send money. What should I do? Kingdale, I don't send money to anybody that I don't know, buddy. You make up your own decision on that, but sounds a little fishy to me. Videos by Al says the local health department claimed 80% will get the virus in the next 2 months. Based on the numbers that I came up with last Thursday, and some of you guys are going to think this is crazy, and really these numbers are going to be affected because people are starting to practice their social distancing, which is basically staying away from other people. But I think at the time on Thursday when I calculated this, the number of cases in the United States was right around 9,500 or so, maybe 10,000. I came up with right around 30-some thousand by Sunday, and then in 30 days, it would be close to 21 million in the United States. So that's if everything continued the way it was continuing. So basically what was happening is the number of cases in the United States was doubling every 2.5 to 3 days. So there's that. So hopefully that kind of curbs itself. And then your businesses, all state borders will be closed by next Friday evening, so I've been told. I haven't heard anything about that. I'm not sure. Nathaniel Lee in my home state of Arkansas confirmed 165 plus 47 new cases. Yeah, it's going to get bad before it gets better, unfortunately. And it's pretty heartbreaking because I'm seeing the toll that it's taking on medical personnel already in our area. And last check in Missouri, I think we had 87 cases. I'm sure it's more than that now. But 2 days last week, my wife was reduced to tears. I mean, it was tearing them apart. And she's in a small clinic. There's, I think, less than 10 people in her office or in their clinic. That's everyone combined, the office manager, nursing staff, and then my wife and whatnot. And it had inundated their clinic, basically tied their hands. And I mean, she was twice in one day called me just sobbing, trying to keep up with it, overwhelmed. And it's just getting started. So the ramifications, I mean, if the numbers continue like with what I calculated, if those numbers continue to climb like that, if we get to 21 million cases in 30 days, or that'd be about 27 days from now, it is going to be very bad. Our complete medical system is going to be, our healthcare system is going to be overran. Videos by Al, I was at 90 cases. John Warren, they're talking about closing all borders for the John Q. Public, but not the interstate commerce. We got to keep the trucks rolling. And hats off to all the truck drivers out there. I mean, you guys have my utmost respect. You guys are blazing trails down the highways trying to get these supplies to everybody, and doing so while states like, I think it was, wasn't it Pennsylvania, shut down their rest areas and off-highway rest area restaurants and stuff. I mean, that was not a good idea. But you guys are doing it without having places to stop and eat, with having rest areas closed. It's terrible. And Nunu said railroaders have it worse. I mean, railroaders are up there too. Railroaders have it bad as well. So basically, Anybody that is younger that watches my videos, if you want to see what profession to get into that's always going to have income, pay attention right now to who is essential employees. Because if you want to make sure that your income is not interrupted, essential employees are the ones that are going to keep working. So pay attention to what's going on right now. Tristan May says McDonald's in UK area closing tomorrow night for the foreseeable future. How the hell us operators get breakfast now? New business essential services will be able to get travel state routes, but everyone else gets a vacation without pay. Taylor Aldrich, truckers, railroaders, EMS, medical staff, public service, utility line workers. I mean, there's right now the world is seeing what it takes to keep a world running. Everybody's getting a first-hand account of whose careers are actually the most important. And as much as I like some of the stuff that athletes do, and we obviously can cancel the NBA. There's a lot of people that put a lot of merit behind professional athletes, and realistically, I think a lot of the big name manufacturers that typically sign athletes to these deals, they should pick these essential employee. They should pick some essential employee and make them the face of their company instead of putting an athlete on their promo material. Frank Hartmeyer says, very good point, Jim. Wayne Tharp, I hear you. I'm taking some online classes to be an inside trader right now. Taylor Aldrich takes so much to keep a great nation running. Dalton Feeks, trucker saving the world one truck at a time. Mike Manford, the backbone of America, will carry us through. And I have no doubt. I mean, we will bounce back from this. It's how much bouncing are we going to have to do to get back? But, we're survivors by nature. It's gonna happen. We're gonna bounce back. It's just how long will it take? Taylor Aldridge, I'm outside St. Louis. Anheuser-Busch and a couple local whiskey manufacturers have started making hand sanitizer. I saw that, and good for them. I mean, that's Anheuser-Busch is good about disaster relief. When the floods ravaged the areas, they instead of canning beer, they can water. And I mean, Anheuser-Busch is good at taking care of people. And I also got an email earlier from Harbor Freight, because you guys see in some of my videos, I do acquire some stuff from Harbor Freight. So they email me their coupons, but Harbor Freight is donating their entire stock of personal protective equipment, N95 masks, aprons, face shields, stuff like that, to hospitals. So, they're taking their entire inventory and donate it. I actually sent them an email asking them to donate it to the smaller clinics, because the bigger hospitals have people in place that specifically their job is to procure those items. The smaller clinics don't have that. So, my wife's clinic, for example, they're close to the point where they're going to have to start making their own masks, which they're not N95 masks, but I mean, something's better than nothing. So I would like to see Harbor Freight donate their stuff to the smaller clinics that don't have the resources or the ability to get the resources they need. Tristan May says, I'm off to bed now, Jimmy. You stay safe and carry on with your great videos, mate. Thanks for that, Tristan. Thanks for stopping in, and stay safe out there. When in doubt, close your door, lock it, keep the people out. Videos by Al, got the same email from Harbor Freight. John Warren said, I think that's great. I got that email too. Woofy W, how are you doing? KO, please look into what the owner did to his father to take control of the company. I know his father was the founder. It was bad. I don't know. What, on Harbor Freight? then your business, how can you honestly say one profession is more important than the other? Without construction workers or crane operators or laborers or any other trade, how would you have a roadway for trucks? I don't think one profession is any more important than the other when it comes to providing the necessary things for the country. I think an electrician working out of a lineman's truck is far more important than a quarterback on an NFL team. I think an iron worker walking the beams of a skyscraper, bolting stuff together to build a new building is far more important than the center on an NBA team. I think a CNA working in an emergency room department taking care of a sick patient is more important than a professional boxer. So, the entertainment industry, as far as professional athletes and stuff, some of them do fantastic work and some of them are very good philanthropists, and I won't take that away from them. However, the people that keep society moving, healthy, roofed, clothed, and supplied with their day-to-day necessities are the people that are important. So, Victor, how to estimate lengths or distances when signaling? That's kind of tricky for a lot of people, Victor. And what I do when I'm trying to estimate distance by looking, I try to think of something of a known distance or known length in my head that I can kind of compare that to. So I know a lot of railroaders use rail cars, and they will estimate the length of a gap between trains based on how many cars. I've got a pretty good feel for how far 100 foot is, or 100 feet, by just looking, because I compare it to half the boom of the crane. So that's a good thing for signal people if they're trying to determine how far something out is. Try to think of something that that's a set length, and how many of those could you put in there. Taylor Aldridge again. During World War II, so many people were needed to manufacture everything we need. And I think they're calling on people to revamp and start building necessary items, whether it's masks, ventilators, and stuff like that. So we're basically going to go into a wartime effort to try to fight this thing. Woofy W says, I understand why Harbor Freight did what they did, but what about the home hobbyist that does woodworking? And I understand that, but if it comes to the home hobbyist whittling something out of wood versus a nurse being able to protect herself from this virus, I'm going to side with the nurse all day long, that the nurse should be the one getting the N95 mask. If you have to take from one and give to another, I would absolutely take from a hobbyist and give to someone that is saving the lives of other people so they can protect themselves. This isn't anything to be trifled with. This whole virus is pretty nasty. Exactly. None of your business. Said woodworkers in their garage can wait for more respirators to build more birdhouses. Katra, how are you doing? Anthony Robertson. We're all in this together. That's a fact. We are we are waist deep in this together. Taylor Aldridge said you use those Bosch rangefinders to figure out length for a crane job. We do sometimes use a rangefinder. I also use a tape measure. Nathaniel Lisa yesterday, I thought my sister got the virus, but she was okay. And I've got a good friend that contracted the virus. It's a fellow union brother of mine's wife, and she has a compromised immune system, and she contracted the virus, and it put her down pretty hard for a little while. Fortunately, she is on the upswing, I think. And so this whole deal kind of hit pretty close to home for me when I found out she had it. And there's still a lot of people that are just taking it for granted and going about their day-to-day activities. And, there's conspiracy theories. Hey, the government's trying to rein us all in, and they're going to take our rights and not give them back. And it's not about that. It's about stopping the spread of this thing, because right now it's spreading so fast that the medical system can't keep up with it. what they've got to do is get this thing drawn out over a period of time to where the healthcare system can handle the sick patients as they come in. But when you inundate them with millions, it's going to shut it all down. Scott says SpaceX is building ventilators now to help out, and good for them. I mean, I think there was even talk of Ford and GM and stuff building ventilators. Josh Wellner been working under a crane truck, and we pace it off, but that's with tree work. Senseless fabrication, I completely agree with you, sir. 10,000%. Louisiana Dirt, how are you doing? None of your business. What's the death toll up to in Italy Friday? It was 14,000 plus. I'm not sure. Taylor Aldridge, the nation needs to come together. The healthcare infrastructure wasn't made for this. Not enough hospital beds. And actually, my wife just came down here, and she sat on our couch the other night and was sobbing because she was overwhelmed. And I said, you should go get on a live stream on my YouTube channel and talk to 10,000 people and explain to them what is going on right now, and kind of curb the naysayers as far as this social distancing thing. But so if you guys have any questions straight from a medical professional that is kind of working through this thing on the front end in the United States, she is standing about 4 feet from me. Oh, and there's my daughter.
I was going to ask if you want me to speak her.
Whatever you guys want. Dad already ate. Your brother already ate.
John Warren says, with my daughter being a doctor, I'm always considered about her health and well-being in these trying times. Absolutely.
Do you want me to sit or no?
You can absolutely sit if you want to hang out and sit. So Lester and Thompson, just an example, my church has luckily procured mask material in our congregation of 35 started assembly line for 11 of our local small clinics. Anything that helps, no matter big or small. Absolutely, Lester and Thompson. Walter Matson, will your wife come online for a minute? Here she is. So she can't answer questions as it pertains to any testing that has been ran in the area or any positives or any of that. You'll have to get any of that information from the CDC or your local health departments. But she can answer questions on how, why, what you can do to help prevent it, and how to protect yourself and whatnot. So let's see. John Warren said, I really wish she would. People need to hear from her. Does none of your business ask, does the virus scar the tissue of your lungs? And you guys are going to have to go slow on your questions because it's going to, this is a topic that could get pretty in depth. So try not to bombard with questions so I can try to keep up with them, please.
It varies on each person. Sometimes it leads to pneumonia, and that's what's causing the need for all the ventilators. When it's severe in patients, and they do have multi-lobe pneumonia, that's when their breathing becomes very difficult and they need the assistance of a vent. Not everybody's will be the same. Not everyone presents the same. And just like in the regular influenza A and B, everybody presents differently. Some people
Can I interrupt you for a second? Can you guys hear her okay? Because it sounds like she's talking kind of quiet. Yeah, none of your business asked if the virus scars the tissue of your lungs.
And that's what I was telling you.
Okay.
It depends on the patient. Depends on what the severity.
Okay, so it's severity dependent on whether or not it will scar your lungs. Now, let's find the next one. I'm gonna scroll over some of your guys' comments just so I can get to the questions while she's down here. Billy Laptop asks, ask your wife about eye protection in addition to N95 masks.
Absolutely. Either goggles or a full face shield helps because it's spread by a droplet. And so if someone coughs or the droplets stay in the air, but then they fall onto surfaces. So you want to make sure that you're protected both not just breathing in, but any way that it could possibly get into eyes, nose, mouth, which is why you got to keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth. It needs a portal of entry, so we're trying to keep that from happening.
Okay, let's see. Taylor Aldridge says thank you for sitting down with us. Scott says thank you to your missus. Walter Madsen, what can we do besides stay away from people?
It really goes down to the basics of washing your hands. It's really sad that we have to teach everybody to wash their hands again, but truly, that's what you need to do. You need to wash your hands. You need to keep your hands away from your face, because that's where you're getting the eyes and the nose and the mouth. So when you go out and if you get groceries, make sure that, when you get back in your car, that you're using sanitizer. When you get home, you wash your hands. Don't track your shoes all the way through the house. When I come home from work, I don't even enter the house. I stop right at the door and everything comes off. A rope sitting there waiting for me, and it goes directly into the washing machine. So, including my shoes. So everything comes off.
Your shoes have been washed more this last few days than I've ever seen them washed.
And then after I come in, then that's what I do. I wash my hands, and it's not just a matter of getting soap on it and then rinsing it off. You've really got to scrub to make sure that you get everything off.
This is a good question. It's a valid one. Nunu asks, how much should I worry about hotel bedding? I stay in several hotels every week.
Wow.
And I may be able to answer some of that because I've been doing a lot of research on this whole Corona thing. And from what I've read is it can survive on cardboard for 3 days?
Mm-hmm. That's what I've read too.
So if it can survive on cardboard for 3 days, I would think bed sheets probably would be porous and not any different than cardboard. If it were me staying in a hotel, I think I would take my own disinfectant.
Mm-hmm.
Or I might even go so far as to take my own bedding and remove their bedding with gloves on and put my own bedding on if I had to stay in a hotel. And some might think that's a little extreme, but if you're packing a suitcase, it's not hard to throw a pillowcase and some sheets and stuff in with it. Okay, let's see. Louisiana Dirt asks, will summer heat kill it? So we just need to lay low, self-isolation to help out.
There's no documentation that supports that yet.
And from the research I've done on it too, and my friends down under can attest to this. They're coming out of summertime, and there's cases of this in Australia. There's cases of this in Central America, South America, Africa. As far as I know, the only place that this isn't right now is Antarctica. And that's probably because there's only a handful of scientists down there that are isolated from everybody else.
Well, and it's so new. We just don't have a lot of studies that can prove or disprove things. That's the whole issue, is because we don't have a lot of research to go off of.
Yeah. So, this thing's 3 months, 4 months old?
Started like in October.
So
in China, anyway.
Yeah.
It was previous to January.
Chaos. If anyone had said the country would shut down like it has 6 months ago, I would have said you're crazy. Senseless fabrication. If we didn't have badasses like your wife, we all would be screwed or dead. I'm grateful for people like her.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see what other things we have. Steve Marshall says, from what I've learned, what has been said, it is a virus that attacks the pulmonary system.
Yeah, it's respiratory.
It's respiratory. So it's primarily lungs, but also some of the cases, the toilet paper stocking up wasn't necessarily a bad idea. Some people are having diarrhea with it.
Yeah, in about half the cases, there's the GI disturbances as well.
Douglas asks, can you reuse equipment with proper cleaning?
Depending on the equipment. Some equipment is meant to be sterilized and reused, but like the N95 masks, those are meant to be disposable, but we don't have enough. And I think that's nationwide, we don't have enough. And there's two different sectors. You've got those that are in the hospital caring for the severely ill patients that desperately need those supplies, that they don't have it. And then you've got us in the more in the private sector where the, doctor's offices and such that a lot of times we're the first point of contact. And so if somebody comes in with a fever or they start having a fever or a cough, who's the first person you're going to call? Are you going to go to the hospital? Probably not. You're going to call your doctor's office. So that's what we've been fielding a lot of. So, it's two different needs and two totally separate arenas that we're trying to supply. But regardless, throughout any organization that provides healthcare, supplies are in demand in very short supply.
So Lester Thompson asks, what are your thoughts on helping small clinics with other supplies? So like if a church wanted to round up some stuff to take to clinics, what would be some of the things that you would need?
Oh, the biggest thing are masks, gloves, and
Gowns.
Mm-hmm.
So could trash bags be utilized as gowns?
Mm-hmm. No. The isolation gowns that we have cover all of us. So it completely the length of my body all the way down to my wrists, and the gloves go over my gown. So, it's truly got to cover every bit of you in order to work appropriately.
So Nunya Business asks, does coronavirus spin differently from the typical influenzas when someone sneezes or coughs?
Spin differently.
Like in the air?
It's all droplet spread. So I see what you're saying because of the shape of the molecule. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Regardless, it's all spread droplet. So it's going to be airborne if you're sitting next to somebody. Let's say I cough and he breathes in, he's going to get it. He has the probability of getting it, not 100%, but he's got the probability of getting it, regardless of, the shape of the molecule.
So one of their protocols for cleaning a room after a suspected case if it were to come in, is they would have to isolate that room for 15 minutes to allow everything to settle onto hard surfaces before they start cleaning it.
Still, they're in full PPE whenever we
Yeah, and still full PPE. Taylor Aldrich says, Jimmy, it can survive on copper, which is a natural disinfectant. And that's why they used to use copper for early surgical tools. King 2042 says, please tell people that antibacterial spray are of no use. People here in the UK thinking they are safe to do so as they please because they have or use it. From what I've read is it has to have an alcohol content of 60% or higher to even phase this stuff.
And this isn't a bacteria.
And it's not a bacteria, it's a virus.
Two totally different critters.
Yeah. Oh, Nunzio Alfano, hello from Italy. My heart goes out to you guys over there in Italy. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I have heard that the reason why Italy was inundated so hard with this was because they weren't paying attention to the statistics and people kept continuing on with their day-to-day activities. And then it blasted 68 million people. That's the population of Italy, but basically it inundated their country because people just carried on like nothing was going on. And in Zio, here's very, very bad situation. How over there? It's not as bad here as what it is over there, but we're behind you guys on the curve as far as you guys got it first. You were exposed first. So as of last week, our trends were following identically with Italy's trends as far as the rate of new cases. And if that were to happen here with 350 million people, you're talking basically 10% of the population being affected in the first 30 days. And from what I've read nationally or internationally, about 10% of cases require medical intervention, whether it's ventilators and whatnot. So that'd be 2.1 million people in the United States within 30 days that would have to have that. But that's just from my studies. Okay, let's see. I got to get back into comments, and I'm getting behind on some, but Matt Schmitz, that's funny right there. It says if you're a Terex operator, you have the virus. I know that doesn't mean anything to her because she doesn't know what Terex is, but Barry Hansen, how are you? So far New Zealand has only had cases from overseas, none internal. And from what I was told by Someone that I talked to in New Zealand, I talked to him on Facebook, said New Zealand is not taking any chances with this. They're sending people out of the country. So New Zealand has basically shut down their borders and they're not taking this lightly. KO says TP has made it Procter & Gamble close to me. Local police are escorting the truck to the freeway for fear of truckers being robbed. That is insane. Okay, Frank Hartmeyer asks, how long does it last? Several weeks before you start to feel better?
Not in everyone. The cases vary in severity, and so therefore the recovery times are going to be different for everybody too. Also, depending on the comorbidities lying behind, if you've got diabetes or you're immunosuppressed in some manner, then obviously it's probably going to take you longer to get over it than someone who doesn't have.
Steve Marshall asks, isn't there a minimum temp the virus has to be in to survive? -10 Fahrenheit or 35 degrees? I'm not sure on
I don't know
that.
the statistics either.
I don't know. I wish I could answer that, but I don't have the answer to that. Let's see. Nunzio says, where I live is a red zone. No one can go out without permission. There is police in the streets. If you go out without permission, you get arrested for 3 months. Food, medicine, and stuffs are delivered. Man. Mike Manfred, will bleach water kill it?
We don't use just bleach. We use actually specialized cleaner in order to clean ours.
I would think you put enough bleach on anything, it'll kill it, but I don't know. If anybody is wanting to get their hands on some bleach that might stand a better chance of taking it out, go to your local pool supply places. I've got about 25 gallons of 13% sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach, but it's 13% concentration where your regular Clorox is about 3 to 5%. So then what I've got, it's liquid chlorine for pools, and people overlook that. You can go to chemical supply places and get that sodium hypochlorite. That's 13%. Now, that being said, when you handle it, you have to be more careful with it. And just like bleach will eat a hole in your jeans, you can just about watch that stuff eat a hole in your jeans. Billy Laptop, the virus has a lipid membrane and alcohol is effective because it can destroy it.
In the specific concentrations, that's why they recommend over 60%.
That's good information, Billy Laptop. I hadn't even come across that in my studies. Matt Lee, how are you doing, Matt? It's just good to see you. Jason Heltzley, how are you doing, Jason? G4 Outdoors, how are you? Tom Hanks on the Gunboat Wave. CC, Top Crane, good to see you. Average folks having normal conversation. Thanks to both of you. Steve Marshall says there's currently 31 cases of COVID in Montana, 5 of which are here in Missoula. Jason Heltzley says Lysol will kill it.
We have a healthcare formula of Clorox that we use.
There you go. First name, last name. Hit the nail on the head right there. Human behavior changes will break the spread.
Absolutely.
First name, last name. University of Chicago epidemiology experts point out that geometric models are usually way off due to changes in human behavior. Matt Lee, good evening. Mrs. Crane, good to have an expert in the house.
I'm far from it. I'm just living through it.
Yeah, we're all in this together. Barry Hansen says in New Zealand, if people arrived and don't self-isolate, they get deported. Nunzio says, here too many people are died and no one gets a funeral. Some family died in the house for 2 days. Crematories work 24/7. Some days ago arrived 20 military trucks to take away dead bodies.
I'm so sorry.
That is terrible. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. Taylor Eldridge says like chlorine. Yes, that is liquid chlorine. The 13% sodium hypochlorite is chlorine. Yamaha, they're shutting Louisiana down now. We're hoping our customers can count the cranes as essential work so we can. as far as I know, we are considered essential business as well with our cranes. So
Structures to continue is what I.
yeah, we've got to keep powers. I hope other countries don't have to see this situation. Honestly, it would help the United States to see that situation.
Right now, I think the frustrating part is seeing all these people that think that they're invincible. And I know though, when we were younger, nothing can touch you mentality. That's the nature of the age group. But what they don't understand with this is that they're putting everybody else at risk. It's not about them. It's about everybody else around them that they come into contact with. The grandparents that they bring it home to, or the pregnant women, or the cancer patients. So even though they may be at low risk and may be able to fight it off, they could be a carrier and bring it back to somebody else, and those people can't fight it off. So they need to kind of get out of their bubble and realize that it's about everybody and not just about them.
So Nunzio says if you search,
Bergamo.
Bergamo, you see what I'm saying. So Katra, that's a dilemma. You ask a question that's a dilemma for a lot of people to take on right now. It's just trying for healthy conversation. And please, people, don't take this off the rails. This is a legitimate question. It says, I get not overwhelming medical staff, but is it worth the hit to our economy is taking versus trying to save the smaller percent of the elderly immune suppressed who will pass? So here's the moral dilemma on that. And honey, I know you're ready to come unhinged with that. I can tell her lips tightened up. Who decides who goes and who stays? And realistically, the immune suppressed and elderly still play a vital role in our communities, and they're our family members. And what?
It's not just the elderly.
And it's not just the elderly. There's people in their 40s and 50s dying from this. There's people in their 30s dying from this.
Though it is low risk, we have a 16-year-old and an almost 19-year-old that fit that high risk category. Our son has asthma, our daughter has hypertension. They fit into that high risk category. And the overwhelming burden that I bring home every day, hoping and praying that I don't bring it home to them. So it's not just about the elderly.
And it's not just about the economy. I mean, sure, our economy is going to take a hit from it. There's no denying that. But how do you put a value on the lives of the people that you love? Our economy will come back from this. I have no doubt. It may take a month. It may take a year. It may take 5 years. I don't know. But, that's a legitimate question. But just like my wife said, our daughter's got hypertension. Our son's got asthma. My daughter's 17. My daughter's going to be 19 in May. My son's 17. I'm not ready to say goodbye to them yet because people didn't want to stay in their house. I hope that makes sense. Andy B says pure grain alcohol mixed with water, I heard, will work. Pure grain alcohol will kill a lot of things, including people. Victor, you know what I say, and now I'm being sincere, and I want you to know your opinion. But this means our spies overseas have failed us. You're dabbling in politics, buddy. Art Walter says, hi, Jimmy, been missing you all okay here right now, staying home. And I'm going to go back and touch on Katra's comment about something real quick. If everybody would take heed to this, and if you got little kids watching, cover their ears. But if everybody take heed to this and keep their asses at home, this would stop in a few weeks. The longer people keep going out and going about their business and not paying attention to what's going on and acting like this is no big deal, the longer the economy is going to take a hit, the harder it's going to be to recover from it, and the more people are going to continue to be infected. If people would just stay home for 2 weeks or not come into contact with other people for 2 weeks, it's going to take 2 weeks, then they could alter the course of all of this. But people in the United States aren't seeing what's happening in Italy. We've got a guy right here telling us everything that's gone on. Dead bodies sitting in your house for 2 days.
There's actually a lot of people that I've seen that said, well, it doesn't matter what's going on in other countries. I'm just concerned about what's going on here at home. Well, what's going on in other countries is what we're looking at if we continue on that path. So, look at what you're going through. I can't even begin to comprehend the level of fear and despair going on over there. I really can't. And it's not just about the United States. It's, we need to learn our lessons from everything that has gone on overseas.
So Walter Madsen asks, how does hypertension get affected?
Hypertension, whenever you're controlled, it's not as big of a deal. But when you've got somebody that has uncontrolled hypertension, then many people have lowered. I'm trying to find a way to explain this. Your blood has to get to organs that are affected in order to heal them. So if you have any alteration in that blood flow to get there to heal it, make antibodies, the white cells, all that stuff, any bump in that process makes you immunocompromised. Diabetics heal slower. Therefore, their immune system is compromised. So if the virus is attacking them, they don't have as many fighters to go toward that infection to fight it. Does that make sense?
Smedco, perfect. Says Cripes just listened to what Nunzio Alfano was saying. Worry about the hit to the economy to go live in that situation? No thanks. The economy will come back. People won't. And Steve Marshall says, don't politicizing this, please. Yeah, I don't want this to be about politics. This isn't a political situation. This is a global humanity situation. This is not politics. This is people legitimately trying to stay alive. Retro Dude 53 says, well, yes, we have to isolate ourselves physically. Does not mean we have to isolate ourselves virtually. We have apps, Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, etc., for a reason to stay in contact during this time. And realistically, if this were to happen 25 years ago, we would be in far worse shape than what we are right now. We have the technology for professionals to teleconference and pass their research on to one another. We have the technology for businesses to be ran remotely. Obviously, we have the technology for me to sit here and talk to 77 people that are watching from all places around the globe. If this were 25 years ago, it would have been absolutely devastating to the economy. It's going to be tough as it is, but it would be another depression like that. Fortunately, with the technology we do have, hopefully it will kind of ease the blow on some of this. Let's see. Trying to get caught back up on some comments, but Anthony Robertson says, my wife has diabetes. I heard that diabetics are 2 times more likely to get it than a normal person.
Because of their suppressed immune system, their decreased ability to fight off infections.
Zen Watts, how are you doing? And I forgot to say hi to Trady Glam. Hope you're doing well down there in Australia. Walter Madsen says, thank you very much. Thank you more, James Bond. Louisiana Dirt, this is a legit disaster. Absolutely. I don't know what that's about. Taylor says, think if it happened in 1980 or later. Absolutely. And Zio, and you guys pay attention to this. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'd say Nunzio. Tell me yay or nay down here in comments. Nunzio Alfano. This guy lives in Italy. He's in the middle of all of what Italy has faced. And he says, stay safe at home. Take China and Italy like example. We start lockdown too late. We are not prepared. Other countries have opportunity to be prepared. That's a guy that has seen what is how this is affecting the world firsthand. how much more do people need to see? If, they're seeing it through his own eyes by his description of this, and it's terrible. Thanks for taking care of that, Mike Manfred. I know I was a little sidetracked. What is that? Chrysanthus says, "Hey Trey, love to watch you and Jimmy. Could use more videos here in Northern Illinois. Just do it. Much love from Cape Town." So I'm going to try to do. I'm changing the subject a little bit, but I'm going to try to get one video a week out. I don't know what day of the week it'll be, but that's what I'm going to shoot for. I'm going to shoot for one video a week. Maybe I can slip a second one in there, and then I'll try to do a live stream once a month, unless you guys shoot me a message and you want me to jump on and talk about something. I do need to get another part of the whole rigging series done. So next will be rigging inspection. But okay, so Nunzio says, "Yeah, you pronounced good. Sorry for my English. Don't apologize for your English. I don't speak Italian. You're doing better with your English than I would be Italian." Taylor Aldridge, U.S. Navy, just posted a video loading out the hospital ships. Done your business. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you stay safe. Says, "Later, guys. I've got to work tomorrow, and I've heard enough of this." West Coast Kenny says, "We were told at work volunteer only if we need to stay home because our health or someone at home is at risk." Mm-hmm. Okay, so John Warren brought up the ibuprofen and COVID fight for the same receptor sites and cause the virus to become more active, basically. Do you know anything about that?
That's what I have gathered as well. They are, and that's any NSAID. So that's ibuprofen, Aleve, aspirin. So they're recommending Tylenol. And really, there is a plethora of information on the World Health Organization and the CDC website. And they've got all the up-to-date recommendations as they learn more and more about this and how to prevent it, and best practices, both at home and professionally. So if nothing, you got questions, that's the best place to go. And don't get all these bogus sites or comments through Facebook or wherever. It's not accurate. So you want to make sure and get your information from a credible source. It's a big thing.
Jason Helsley said, "Folks on dialysis like me have no choice but to get out 3 times a week. We have to go to the clinics for treatment. I know I'm immunocompromised, but my system is a little stronger than most." Says, "I've been exposed and vaccinated against far worse." MJW says, "They have 21 cases in Alaska. I already bugged out of town to where I have a couple years of supplies and ammo, but still on grid. I can fly out to my bush camp if need be. Be safe, everyone." Well, come to Missouri and grab us first. Warp 65er, one video a week with or without glasses, just trying to lighten the mood. I've got my glasses on today because I had my contacts in yesterday, and I'm building a speaker box for my truck because I can't leave anything alone. And although I like the Bose system that's in there, it's just not quite good enough. So I'm making some upgrades to the old GMC. And I didn't even think about all the sawdust in my garage while I was building that box. So my contacts were driving me crazy. So I'm giving my eyes a break today.
That's because you don't take them out when you're supposed to either.
I take them out at night. Cass Railroad 53 says, "Thank your wife. I learned something today." Oh, Zen Watts said, "That's funny you talking about rigging inspection. I asked about a rigging inspection video a few months back. I need to get it done. So it's on my to-do list." Smedco, Mrs. to the top. "So these healing crystals are no good? I've been had."
Good luck with your essential oils.
John Warren, you remember John? We ate dinner with John.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what my daughter told me. She has the same opinion. So Lester and Thompson, thank you, Mrs. Top Crane. That was a month full. Andy B says, I need 3 surgeries and 1 is cancer. With everything going on, I don't know what to do. I go Tuesday for checkup. Keep me in your prayers. You will definitely be in our prayers, Andy B. Everybody else, say a little prayer for Andy B. It sounds like he's going through some rough stuff. And Andy B, if I can help with anything, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll do what I can. Victor, when your aux port stops working, how is that metal pin inside supposed to go? You ever messed with that? I'm not sure I'm following you there. Billy Laptop says, MedCram on YouTube is a credible source for info. They get into the deep weeds on the virus, hosted by a pulmonologist in California. Casper T. All, how are you doing? King 2042, I'm thinking you guys would get away with moonshine while the scare is on, eh? Possibly. I've never dabbled in making moonshine. I've heard that if you do it wrong, you can actually kill yourself. Trady Glam says, hey, Jimmy, we should work out a way to do a live together from either side of the world. That would actually be pretty cool. We'd have an Australian perspective along with the United States perspective. There's a way to do it. Streamlabs, I think. Now you can do it with that. And then there's a host of other apps that you can use where you can have guests on a live stream. It used to be really, really easy. And then YouTube got rid of Google Hangouts, which I think was terrible. But
There's Zoom, but I think it
Zoom.
that's what we use, but it limits the amount. I don't know how many participants you can have. You could probably record it and then post it, but
I don't know. I'll do some research on it and get a hold of you, and we'll figure out a way to do it. And I haven't been on the old YouTube much, Trady Glam. Have you uploaded anything new lately? I know I told a bunch of people to go watch your stuff. Oh, yeah.
not to be underestimated.
Nunzio says, also do not underestimate giving you comfort and keeping communities together, especially the weakest. The mental sanity factor is not to be underestimated.
Absolutely.
John Warren, be very careful making moonshine. I've made plenty. Billy Laptop says, I think Zoom has a 250 limit.
Okay, I wasn't sure what the limit was. I knew there was one, but I've got a Zoom account.
Mike Manford says, StreamYard. I'm taking notes, Mike. Oh, I missed a call from, I'm assuming, Savannah High School.
I know, I did too.
Jason Helsey asks, how many cases do you guys have in Missouri? We have 105 in Kentucky as of earlier. I think we're probably closed in on 100. Zen Watts for Hangouts do like Facebook video of Skype with other people and just screen record. He uses OBS.
The good thing about Zoom too, you gotta
StreamYard is up to 4 people.
Oh.
That's good. Looks like 1+ for StreamYard. Steve Marshall learned a lot from YouTube. So yeah, it's amazing the amount of information you can get off of the YouTube platform. It's insane. But there's also a lot of misinformation you get off the YouTube platform. It's insane. So, yeah. JTTV asks how much flex are in those models. Like those, the one on that far end over here is the stoutest one of all of them. I think you could actually pick real stuff with it, but it's going to be real small. Joe Smith says something about RIP Joe Rogan. Then G4 said, at Joe Smith, what are you saying? I don't. Taylor Aldridge is glad to see the schools are taking it seriously. I know they have disbanded the standardized testing for this year. Steve Marshall, consider the source. Absolutely. If I jump on YouTube, make a video about something that's crane related, you can bet that it's probably a pretty reliable video. But if I jump on a video and do something about knitting or something, you can bet that I'm pretty much pulling that out of my butt because, and there's a lot of that kind of stuff that happens on the YouTube platform. So yeah, consider the source. Meadowview Lawn Care, how are you doing? It says, hey guys, what's your situation there in Connecticut? Everything is closed except for essentials. That's happening here on Tuesday. Frank Hartmeyer says, thank you, Jimmy, and to your wife. Stay safe. Jay Rios, any great opportunities you'd suggest for new licensed crane operator trying to choose which cert to get? It's all going to depend on what you want to pursue. I would get certified in anything that you can, because the more you have, the more opportunity you'll have, and the more you'll be worth to a company. Taylor Aldridge asked, Jimmy, what models are those? Is the one a 400-ton model? Nope. That one is an ATF 220. It's Tadano ATF 220, which is a 250-ton American tons capacity. That one is an ATF 160, which is considered a 200-ton capacity. And then the small one is a GR 1000, which is a 100-ton RT. Trady Clam says, oh, by the way, hi, missus to the top crane. You didn't say hi, honey.
Hi.
Oh, Andy B says, let's talk about something fun. We have talked about enough of the corona, I think. I mean, we all know it's bad. It's going to get worse. But I agree with Andy B. Let's talk about something fun. It says, when am I going to start running a friction rig? Hopefully never. And I tried to put together a decent video of that link belt when they were clamming out that barge. I didn't know how that was going to work out, and I'm surprised it didn't get more views than it did, but it's still out there. But that we won't get footage of that very often. I think they're saying maybe 13 barges this year, but we'll see. Xenon Watts, you're the best channel I've ever seen for rigging and crane work. If I ever need info for this stuff, I go to your channel. Well, thanks for that. JTTV says there's a lot of not digging through the archives on YouTube, so you get people spreading the same stuff over and over, just wrong. Trade Glam Franas. We don't have any Franas in the States yet. I think I read somewhere where they had a Frana in at Con Expo, and I think it was even a right-hand drive. Lester and Thompson, Sword Liquor Stores Essential, asking for a friend. Who am I to disagree with whether, I would say so. Art Walter saw, he thought the old friction crane video was good. Mike Manford, when you stop building cell phone towers. We've got a cell phone tower coming up. It's a 300-footer. Do you guys want me to record it? I mean, I've got a lot of tower footage anyway, and actually I've got tower footage on my computer that I need to get edited and uploaded. I was flying a man basket around the top of one of them. I think it was 240 feet tall. But I mean, do you guys want me to record another 300-foot cell phone tower? Matt Lee asked if the Tadano is capable of running a clamshell if needed. I know it would be overkill, but could it be used for other tools besides the hook? Since it has 2 winches, it could run a clam. However, the Tadano is not really for duty cycle work like that. So, yes, it could be used, but pick and swing when you're trying to do it fast is not that crane's strong suit.
I just got my...
Nunzio's, good night to you over there. He says 1:10 a.m. here.
Oh, gosh.
Prayers go out to all of you over there that are affected. Thanks for contributing so much to the conversation on here. And, man, I hope the best for you guys. JTTV says, heck yes, can you get some footage from a climber too? I'll try. I'll see if one of them will throw a GoPro on their hard hat or something. Walter Matson towers are good for us. I'm not you guys know me. I'm just, for some reason, I'm not a fan of towers. And I think a lot of it is that tower I did when I got hit with that wind. When you have that much boom out, you're very susceptible to the weather, to the elements. And that's just one of those things that sits in the back of your head the whole time you're sitting there with 330 feet of tip height. Taylor Aldridge says, Jimmy, what do you think about Tadano buying part of Terex DMAG cranes? I think it was a fantastic idea. I think it was good for DMAG, for Terex and DMAG, because it will allow them to have, not that they build bad machines, it will just allow them to have a different technology opened up to them, and probably a little more refined technology. And I think it's great for Tadano because it allows them to jump into a marketplace that's already turnkey that they didn't have before. So I think it fits both companies very well. And I think what you'll see come out of that, I think you'll see some fantastic machines come out of that merger. You know, they take the DMAG crawlers and start putting some Tadano technology in them, and you're gonna see some pretty cool stuff, I think. Trying to get back to Von Heel says, for uneven loads, do you figure the load per leg or the total load on the rigging? If you know that your load is uneven, if you can calculate how much weight's to one side, then you can calculate the rigging on those particular legs. Really, most 90% of loads that you pick up, they're going to be centered under the hook, or you're going to have a center of gravity. So the rigging is going to have a fairly equally shared load on each leg, but there are some things like chillers and whatnot that have motors and stuff at one end where they would have a little more tension on that side. And you can calculate all that, but my philosophy on it is, when in doubt, go with rigging that is way overkill. Taylor Aldridge, stuff could go south real quick, I understand, with wind. It does. JTTV, how long does it take to lower 330 feet? I've got 100, when I've got 330 feet of tip height, I've got 197 feet of main boom and 122 or 23 feet of jib. I think it's 123. And I know that doesn't add up to 330, but when you calculate the height of the carrier, then it gives you a 330 foot tip height. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how fast it retracts that 197 feet of main, but I can tell you, when you get hit in the side with 44 mile an hour wind, it doesn't retract it near fast enough. Nathaniel Lee, how heavy is the link belt? I'm not sure how much it weighs. For some reason, I'm wanting to say 90-some thousand sticks in my head, but that may be way off. Katra, are you guys looking for more help? I'm in live entertainment, concert, sports, and I'm looking at least 8 weeks, no work. I don't know what I could put you to work doing unless you want to come here, hang out, and do some video editing. Trading Wind Terex doesn't own Franna anymore. Franna is a standalone company. Mike Manfred like to see what happens in the utility sector. I think Mike Manfred should strap a GoPro to his hard hat and record his days and put them on YouTube, because Mike is a lineman. He could probably have some pretty interesting stuff happen, which I'm not sure. Maybe you already do. No, you don't. So, Mike, get you a GoPro. Start recording your stuff. Put it on YouTube. People would like to see what linemen do. Meadowview Lawn Care, what do you think of cranes that use wrecking balls? Are there special ones used? Seems like a lot of stress on them. Typically, they use lattice boom cranes for wrecking balls because the booms are a lot lighter on a lattice boom crane. And, a lot of times they're older machines with free fall. I would never put a wrecking ball on the end of the Tadano. Andy B, let us know when you do the cell tower and I'll send you a roll of toilet paper. The cell tower is supposed to happen sometime in the next week or two. Taylor Aldridge, Libre might have some new competition. I think that's what the Tadano DMAG merger is shooting for. I think Tadano is going to be, Tadano as a company whole is going to be one of the major players that is going after the Libre market share. And I may catch some flack for this next statement, but I think they could pull it off. I mean, they've got Tadano's poised to build some incredible stuff, and some stuff that is new technology that might take like the telescopic boom world and kind of turn it on its head. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Zenon Watts, what is my favorite crane? Anybody want to answer that? I can tell you my favorite crane is not on the market yet. They've got it kind of backburnered right now, but they are going to build it. But the crane that I want to put my butt in the seat of the most is a Tadano ATF 600-8. Trying to get caught back up. I'm going to end up skipping over some of you guys. I'm by accident, and for that I apologize. But Zach Porter, have you ever lifted the full capacity of the crane? I've never lifted 400,000 with it, if that's what you're asking, but I have taken it to its maximum capacity for given configuration. So when you look at maximum capacity of a crane, that maximum capacity is going to vary depending on the configuration the crane is in. And I have maxed the old Tadano out on several occasions, picking various things. So it's all relative to how the crane's set up. Jason Heltzley, I did see that. I said, did you see the video on Facebook that was shot by the operator that was caught in the tower crane in Nashville during tornado a few weeks ago? I did, and I would never. That solidifies my decision to not operate tower cranes. This Medcode's tough to keep up. Manitex gets passed around like a party favor. Tadano owns, says Terex got rid of the boom truck division too. I think they're getting away from everything except for old Lorraine-based cranes. Where did someone mention Manitex up here earlier? I wonder. I don't know. I know Tadano owns a portion of Manitex. Von Heels, the Tadano does not weather vane. I can release the swing brake and kind of just let it drift, but it's not really a weather vane feature. John Warren says that 318 weighs in at 96,000, just the house and tracks, if I remember correctly. For some reason, that sticks in my head. Oh, Mike Manfred said he asked and the company won't allow it. That sucks. I'm actually pretty fortunate that the company I work for allows it. That may be why there's not a lot of crane channels on YouTube. There are a lot of people that I think are worried about having their crane stuff put on. And, when I upload a video, I'm putting it out there for the entire world to see, good, bad, or indifferent. And one thing I've learned is it will bring out the armchair quarterback in a lot of people. But, maybe that's it. Maybe people are afraid to put themselves out like that. I tried explaining that to the people on the Cranes Are Awesome Facebook page, which if you are on Facebook and you're not watching or following Cranes Are Awesome, do that as soon as this live stream's over, because there's a lot of neat stuff that gets posted on there. But, when a person takes a picture of a crane or a job that they're doing with a crane and they post it, that's one thing. When you take a video and post it, you have put yourself in the microscope of everybody that's watching that video. So it's apples and oranges comparing crane videos to crane pictures. Let's see. Taylor Aldridge competition gives us better stuff. John Warren said they canceled my loads going to your area for HVAC now because of the COVID-19. Trady Glam, have a good, is it day over there? I guess it would be day over there. Have a good day. Says, got to go. My truck just turned up. Have a good evening. Stay safe. Keep the dirty side down. JTTV. So what do you think of the mega cranes that Mammut sets up? I think the stuff Mammut does is mind-boggling. Just the logistics for Mammut alone would blow most people's heads or their minds. It's unreal, the stuff they do. I've heard a few of their cranes. It's $20-some million just to get it to the site. So it's unreal. Mammut's got a YouTube channel. If you guys want to see some ridiculous cranes doing some amazing stuff, look up Mammut. And if any one of you moderators wants to throw Mammut's channel link up here, then feel free. Let's see. Andy B says, does your company haul that friction rig or hire it removed? We actually leave it at the facility that it's at. It was purchased and will stay there until we decide to do away with it. Taylor Aldridge, the Facebook channel I was referencing is Cranes Are Awesome. So you can go on Cranes Are Awesome, find a picture, comment on it, whatever. Tell them I sent you over there. The guy that runs that page, he and I talk pretty consistently, and bunch of good people. We don't allow drama on there. The drama that does get on there gets taken down pretty quickly, and it's a lot of respectful people enjoying crane stuff. Lester Thompson, random thought. What products do you use for your beard? I'm new to the big beard world. My wife wishes that I didn't have the beard. She doesn't like it. We've been together long enough now. It's too expensive for her to leave. So I use Honest Amish beard balm is what I put in my beard. And
Some kind of glittery oil.
It's not glittery. It's just beard oil. And I don't even remember the name of it.
Moroccan.
Oh, yeah. I use some Moroccan oil in my beard occasionally. Christy Bow, how are you doing? John Clifton, but it's all covered you insurance-wise in case of any mishaps. I'm assuming you're referring to my crane videos. The big thing about having the crane videos, if there is a mishap, then they're going to use that video as evidence, good, bad, or indifferent. Noel Tech, how are you doing? He says, wow, everyone live tonight. Who else is live? Is Logger Wade on tonight? I know he likes to do some on Sundays. King 2042 says, I think the reason your company allows you to record is your professionalism. I think they know you're not going to do stupid shit that would place them at risk. I try not to do stupid stuff. Mike Manford works on regular power lines, distribution lines, like run in your local neighborhood. Von Heels, exactly, says, most important thing to consider with any equipment video is not how I would do it, but is it being done in a safe way? Do not worry about how efficient you think someone else is. Exactly. DJ, that's a good question. I use HitFilm Express 2013. I was using Adobe Premiere Elements 2018 for a while, and I felt like it wasn't letting me have as much control as what I wanted. So I switched. I started using HitFilm in the beginning. I went to Adobe because it seemed easier, and then I went back to HitFilm because it's more feature rich. HitFilm Express is trying to get me to update to the 2014 version, which I haven't done yet. But HitFilm Express is neat because it's a very all-inclusive video editing software. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and it's free. Now, if you start adding, you can add packs to it. So if there's different features that you want, then you can buy extra features and make it a little bit different. But HitFilm Express is the one that I use. Smedco, I can imagine the scrutiny from videoing would be something else to add to a situation like the 5 stages of grief. I'm pretty sure I went through aligning an ATF 220 chip last week. Huh. Yeah, man, when you post a video doing this kind of stuff, it really does get scrutinized a lot. Oh, so Logger Wade and Dirt Perfect are live tonight. Logger Wade's volume's all messed up. King 2042, that Logger Wade is an intense chap. I actually, in the early stages of my channel, I say my channel, it's your guys' channel, but in the early stages of this channel, I had someone comment that I needed to be more animated like Logger Wade. Could you imagine, and nothing against Logger Wade, I love him to death, he's a great guy, but could you imagine having a crane operator with the energy level of Logger Wade, the outcome that you would have with that? I'm guessing it would make for entertaining video because it wouldn't. I mean, I think it would probably turn into a catastrophe. David Regroni, isn't a beard required to operate cranes and rig? Some would say. Exploring new items for fun. Oh, hello, how are you? Andy B says, everybody please hit that thumbs up. Jason Heltzley, anyone else ready to hit the lakes and ponds? I've been ready for a while. I'm ready to catch a freezer full of crappie. Ooh, Von Heel said, I had a local lineman lose both his arms working on a normal line about 10 years ago, got in a hurry and failed to take the proper safety precautions working in a bucket truck. Ooh. Exploring new items for fun. Is your daughter on your back? That's my wife. They asked if you were my daughter.
Whoever that is, you're my new favorite person.
King 2042, try to listen to Logger Wade on headphones. Wow. Nathaniel Lee says, exploring new items for fun. No, it's his wife. Zenon Watts, does flying man baskets ever make you extra nervous? I get that question occasionally, and not to sound heartless or anything, but no. I don't get nervous flying man baskets. The only thing I do is it puts me into like super smooth mode. So when I'm operating a crane, there's times for really fast and really not so smooth. It's just a matter of speed. And then there's times for fast and smooth. And then there's times for super smooth. And if I'm working around a glass front building, working near anything that could cause a hazard, such as a power line, or working in tight quarters, or anytime I have a man basket on, I keep everything super smooth. So, but I don't get nervous flying a man basket. I've even had some of my best friends up in a man basket. The reason why I don't get nervous about it is because I am very detail oriented when it comes to setting the crane up. I double and triple check things. I stay well within my capacities. The OSHA standard says when you have a man basket on, your actual capacity is to be cut in half. Typically, when I have a man basket on that Tadano, I'll be good for like 12 or 14,000 pounds. And, I might have 1,000 pounds worth of men gear and basket. So I don't get nervous with it. I've read where guys will almost panic and not fly a basket, but you got to trust in yourself and trust in your machine. Lake of the Ozarks, 4 weeks. Will it be open? I'm not sure if it will be or not. I mean, I would like to think that they would leave the boat ramps and stuff open. It's not like you're going to get 100 people congregating around a boat ramp. Realistically, if anything could be done with this extra time we're going to have off, people should be taking their kids fishing and camping and getting out and about by themselves. And, you shut down a lake to people going out and, dad taking his kid fishing or wife and daughter taking off hiking, whatever. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be happening. Right now, we have an opportunity for families to spend time together.
We've got updated recommendations on cleaning through the CDC.
Oh, I really don't want to travel down that path again on here, honey.
Okay.
Sorry. JTTV, I remember one time had to get sight with a man basket because someone had climbed a tower. We are listed with the local fire department, I believe, to where we can provide support if they need to get over. I think our tallest fire truck's 150 feet in the area. And so if they need to get higher than that, then they can call us and we'll set the crane up for them. Matt Lee, super smooth mode for me when I'm in the man basket. I don't even want to know if I'm moving or stopping. Xenon Watts asked a good question. He says, how expensive is it to become a certified crane operator? That's going to depend on the route that you take. I'm in the operating engineers, so I got my training and certification through our local union. However, our local union, actually it's not our local union, but the OECP is what they call it, charges a fee for that now, and it's right around $150 or $165 to take the test. If I'm not mistaken, I think the NCCCO test is a couple hundred, and then there's also schooling you can go through. And I mean, a person can invest a couple thousand in it if they took that route, but I didn't take that route. Yeah, Taylor Aldridge, that's a perfect point. Xenon Watts depends on if you go through the union or private company for your certification. Some companies will pay for your license or you yourself for a couple $1,000s. Katra, that's a good question. He says, I've had crane ops refuse to let us hang SRL from the ball, not flying a person, but making climbing up and down faster. So you're talking about like your rigging lines, I'm assuming, safety lines. According to the standard, they can use the crane attachment as a point of attachment for safety equipment. However, that crane cannot be used for anything other than that while that is taking place. So say there was a guy that had to climb over the edge of a building and work on the eave or something, and I was on site and I had the crane sitting there and he didn't have a tie-off point on the building. I could swing my ball over there and let him use the rope above the becket as a tie-off point for his safety harness. However, if he does that, I cannot do anything else with that crane while he's tied off to it, and I cannot get out of the crane seat if he's tied off to it. So that's probably why some of your crane operators are refusing to do it, because as soon as you hook safety gear to it, that crane operator cannot leave the seat. So unless he's got a diaper on, he may be stuck there for the duration. Well, he would have to have a diaper on to be stuck there for the duration. I don't know. I've sat in a crane for, I think the longest I've gone is about 14 or 16 hours without getting out of it for anything. Exploring new items for fun. What is your wife doing? I think she's too serious. She's a nurse practitioner, and she is studying right now the new cleaning and safety guidelines for this coronavirus. Joe Smith says he has a bad fever and they won't test him for corona.
You've got to meet strict criteria in order to be tested for corona, and fever is not. You can't just do it based on fever. Fever, cough, shortness of breath, diarrhea.
Suzanne Watts says the tree company I saw one day flying the person and lift the load of the limbs. Was it illegal? I would have to go back through and brush up on the rules and regulations for arborists, because arborists can do stuff that other people can't do as it pertains to cranes. I know the rule of thumb, and the reason why I don't know that off the top of my head is I don't work a lot with tree companies. We do occasionally, but I have only ever worked with people that are climbing and we're flying pieces of the tree off. I know in the construction world, it is illegal to hoist a man basket and materials at the same time. So say I had the auxiliary line reeved and I had the man basket on the auxiliary line, I then cannot use my main line for hoisting anything. So it's one or the other. Now, like I said, arborists, they get away with some stuff that is above and beyond what we typically encounter. Lester Thompson, I have a super secret crappie hole. Stop by if you're in Kansas. You can bring your daughter. You're right about the family thing. Remember, we're all in this world together to be the best neighbor. We are all in this together. I am curious about your super secret crappie hole you have there, Lester Thompson. If there's one thing I enjoy, it's crappie fishing for sure. So there's that. Shoot me an email. I'll come for a visit. I'll even bring beer. Von Heels, that guy is now a public speaker for safety and preaches it to everyone to always rely on your superior judgment so you never have to rely on your superior skills. Richard Coggins, how are you doing? Well, we have kind of run the gamut on this live stream. We've covered a lot of topics, but it's whatever you guys want to talk about. That's kind of the basis on these live streams. It gives you guys an opportunity to ask me questions, and hopefully I know the answers to them. And it's a way for all of us to kind of get together and learn more about this whole crane world thing and other topics. Xenon Watts, what type of rigging gear does your support trucks carry? So we carry several different sizes and lengths of continuous synthetic slings. We carry 3 sets of cable spreaders with hooks on the end of them. We carry all different size shackles, everything from, I think the smallest shackle we keep around the 200 is a 3/4 inch, and clear up to a 2.5 inch shackle. The 4 crane mats, 4 round crane pads, 2 spreader beams, counterweight, and that's what typically. And I think we have 8 double layer 4x20 nylon slings. So I think that's pretty much the inventory of the support truck for the 200 ton. King 2042, crappie hole must mean something different in the U.S. and England. It's generally used for a toilet. We're talking about fishing hole. Typically, it's a farm pond or a place on a lake that the species of fish called a crappie, whether it be black or white crappie, like to hang out. So we're not fishing in a toilet. Art Walters says, take care. Got to see you soon. Thanks for stopping in, Art. Katra, so it's placing towers. Tower flies in, gets pinned to the base. Would use the SRL to climb the tower and unhook the crane faster versus using ladder scaffold hooks to climb 60, 80 foot. I don't know. I would be open to it. I would have to see how they're wanting to achieve everything, but I would be open to it. It's my time. Are you laid off for now? So far, we are still working. In the world of cranes, I think we're considered essential because of some of the stuff we do for utility companies and whatnot. Billy Laptop, other topic. How is the cat doing? The cat's still alive.
Cat's actually sleeping with Hope upstairs.
So the cat's still fine. How long have we had that cat? 15 years?
15 years.
He's 15 years old.
Mhm.
I'm about done with the cat. Really.
Our daughter isn't.
I didn't want the cat 15 years ago. It was a funny story about the cat, how we procured the cat. I was fishing with her dad, and I get this phone call, and we just moved into a new house. And I get this phone call, and she says, "Hey, I got something for the house." I said, "It better not be a cat." It was a cat.
Cat's been a good cat.
He's a good cat, I guess. Cass Railroad says, good night to both of you. Stay safe. You as well. Thanks for tuning in. John Clifton, Jimmy, I was wondering if you've got the boom all the way up to full capacity, how fast can you bring it down in case the bad weather comes up? I can get it retracted in a couple minutes. Retracted and then laid down. Andre says, good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, Andre. Ron Briggs, how are you doing? This is watching and listening along while doing some online coursework for the fire departments I'm on or do work with.
Yeah, ton.
Huh?
Baby's born.
Sorry,
You can shut your autoplay off.
I did.
Whipple1, smack that like button, folks. Exploring new items for fun. Your beard has become white, but your wife is too young. He's not in the United States. Here's a news flash, and this is probably going to upset her, but she's older than I am.
Not much.
11 months
11 months.
is what she says. I say it's a year.
No, it's 11 months.
It's a year. It's a whatever. It's a year. Von Heels, is there any real difference between a wooden crane mat and a steel one in terms of their effectiveness or where you can use them? Yes and no. Some wooden mats tend to flex more than steel mats. Wooden mats can also become waterlogged and rot from the inside out. Steel mats, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. Steel mats can become slippery. They're also typically heavier. We've got both at our company. Whenever I'm got the big crane set up, I'm typically set up on hybrid mats. They're a steel and wood hybrid mat. Nunu says, I have a question. Fellow employees are talking about COVID-19 self-test. They say take a deep breath, try to hold it for 10 seconds. Is this BS? From what I've read, that's BS. First, last name, when I implemented social distancing by warm fire, my main health concern is the tequila virus. Juan, I think it's Weigel. So how are you doing, my friend? I work at UPS. We're firing on all 8 cylinders. Well, that's good because I have a package coming from UPS supposed to be delivered tomorrow evening. But thanks for doing what you guys are doing too. I mean, you guys are keeping things ticking along.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Marshall, are you a good distance from Fort Lost in the Woods, Fort Leonard Wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a ways away. We're an hour north of Kansas City. First, last name. Our rescue cat is 17 and either throws up or brings in a dead animal once a day.
Yeah.
That's the problem we're having with our cat is he throws up once a day.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think he's reached his usable lifespan.
What if somebody thought you reached your usable lifespan?
But then if someone thought that, then I probably have. If I start throwing up every day because I'm old, then it's probably time to put me in a ditch and cover me with enough dirt that I don't stink or something doesn't dig me up. Taylor Aldridge, you need to eat some dinner. Take it easy, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Taylor. Oh, Lester and Thompson. This is a place where the lake was made with a hand-dug well that got flooded to make the lake. I would absolutely go fishing with you down there sometime. I don't think I've seen you since my RSC days. He used to work for Genie Industries. I went through a lot of his service training classes.
Ah.
JTTV, rude. Must be talking about my cat comment. Mike Manfred. Hey, Jimmy, how's the hammer coming? Let's see if I got a picture of the old hammer. I know I've got one. So there it is so far. I've still got a little ways to go. And I know I apologize to everybody for not getting that done in the month or even the last year that I thought I would, but it's a labor of love and it's an on and off thing, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, really. I really underestimated how much work it was going to be. I should actually take volunteers to come in and grind. If I could get 2 people on it, if I could get myself and one other person just really getting after it, I could probably get it done in a weekend.
That's what you had our son for.
I can't get our son to run a 7-inch angle grinder without cutting himself in half. I need someone that can manhandle a 7-inch angle grinder that doesn't mind doing it for 14 hours. I must have missed something. Whipple once. Thanks, guys. Been a good chat. Got to go. Stay safe at work, healthy at home, and conserve that toilet paper. Thanks for tuning in, Whipple one. Ken, is it true the next person you see is a nurse after saying, "Hold my beer"?
Usually.
Yeah. King 2042. What did I miss? King 2042. I must have missed something. Oh, well. Steve Marshall, the only contagious on me is my twisted sense of humor and laugh being infectious. Zan Watts, how often do you use the high-speed button on the crane? I would call it the oh crap button. I call it the oh crap button because I would use it in an emergency. It just depends on what I'm doing. If I've got 1 or 2 parts of line in and I've got a lot of boom out and I'm taking stuff up and down a lot, then I'll use the high speed. And then I use high speed sometimes for retractor extend. If weather is an issue, I definitely use it. If we've pulled into a job site that we're running late or we're in a hurry to get set up, then I'll use it running boom out. So there's times that I use it. Von Heels asked you a good question. He said, is your office still doing preventative care visits or is it purely illness cases now?
That is a very good question. Actually, when all this came out, I'm the only provider in my clinic, so I kind of made a decision to do my well visits in the morning and all my sick in the afternoon, and giving us an hour at the end of the day to completely clean everything so that we keep them as separated as possible, because our waiting room it's not conducive to separating them out there. So we also have our patients sit in their cars, and whenever they get here, they call in to the clinic, let us know they're here, we check them in, and then we bring them straight from their car into a room. Minimizes exposure to everyone.
So there you have it. Nathaniel Lee Cat update: the skid steer are control integrated into the smart attach. I'm not sure what you're going with on there. Mike Manford, life comes first. Absolutely. JTTV, what power tool brand do you use? In my home garage, I've pretty much got all DeWalt as far as power tools. I've got 2 4.5-inch DeWalt angle grinders, a 7-inch DeWalt angle grinder, DeWalt mini impact, DeWalt drill. I've also got a snap-on drill. Got a Milwaukee Portaband. So I've got a little bit of everything, but as far as my battery powered stuff, I've pretty well switched to DeWalt. Andre, I can't see TV anymore. Too much fear propaganda. I should have built a bunker. Oh, King 42, your comment on if your time is up, bury me in a ditch and cover me up. That's what I've always said. When my time is up, don't waste money on a big funeral. Just push me in a ditch, cover me with enough dirt that I don't stink and that nothing digs me up. I mean, what? I can't think that's kind of the same route your dad wants to go, isn't it? It's quick, easy, and inexpensive.
I'm probably not doing that. So.
But why would you spend $7,000 or $8,000 putting me in a hole in the ground when you could spend $70
Well, I'm not chucking you in a ditch either.
and save that $7,000 or $8,000 and do something fun with it? As in, well, it's rule number 1: when in a hurry to set up, never be in a hurry to set up. Done stuff like that before, seems to never end well. Yeah, I won't get in a hurry when it comes to crane placement and setting mats and stuff like that. Now, once the crane is already set up, then scope and boom in and out. I can kind of get in a hurry on that sometimes, but being methodical with the crane setup is paramount, because if the crane, and you guys have heard me say this before, if the crane is not set up correctly, everything you do from then on is incorrect. JTTV says I was a Team Red intern, but I have friends that work for Team Yellow. They make good tools. I've had good luck with my DeWalt stuff. Adnan, hello from me. Mark Mortensen, can't go to our doctor right now, but we can call and doctor will call back. Of course, we can go to hospital if an emergency.
Mm-hmm. We're switching over to telehealth too. So a lot of places will be doing that as well.
Lester Thompson, that's what we're doing here. Mrs. Two Top, thanks, guys. Have a good evening. Hope you have a good evening as well. Lester Thompson, shoot me an email if you want. And when all this stuff kind of settles down a little bit, I'll come down and we'll do some fishing. Warp 65, I want a cheap funeral with large bar tab. Mike Manford, down payment for a new Ram for Mrs. Two Top Crane. I don't even have my Ram anymore. I haven't. How long have I had my other truck? Since October?
Yeah, it was in the fall.
I got rid of my Ram back in, I think, October, and I haven't posted a video of the new truck yet. Exploring new items for, for fun. Says, I will go from chat if you not follow my direction. Well, let's see what your direction is. What's exploring new items for fun wanting? So you want me to sit in the back seat and have my wife sit in the front, huh? So I'm assuming that means that for some reason you may be somewhat attracted to my wife and not so much me. Here's how this is going to go, exploring new items for fun. You can take your ass right out of chat. I don't care. If we go from 63 to 62 because you left with comments like that, it seems like we're all better off because of it. So see ya. Thanks for taking care of that, Mike Manfred. John Warren, the UN is doing lots of telehealth. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Walter Matson, what did I buy for a truck? What do I have now? I bought a 2017 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali. So it's got a lot more creature features than the old Ram had. It's got the 6.2 in it, which for a truck, it's a rocket ship. Yeah, she said it's really comfortable. It rides like a car. I haven't pulled the camper with it yet. And from what I've seen on YouTube, there's a few people that have pulled like 32-foot campers with it. Mine's 36 feet. So when I hook up the old camper, we're gonna make a video of that, because I think that would be the only video of a 1500 pulling a 36-foot bumper hitch camper. But I think it'll pull it okay. It's not going to pull it like the old Ram did with the Cummins in it, but we'll see what happens. I've got a weight distribution hitch, and I'm used to driving big things, so I'm not scared of it. But I really like that GMC, and I have nothing bad to say about the Ram that I had. It was a great truck as well. I would have kept it if the whole delete police wouldn't have cracked down on everybody as hard as they did. And then I was also looking at the fact that gas versus diesel. I drive round trip 12 miles to work and home, and I just couldn't really justify driving a diesel truck like that. So out with the Ram and in with the old GMC with the 6.2. But one of these days I would like to order the 650 horse Hennessy supercharger kit for it. I think that would be a riot in that truck. We're probably not going to talk a lot about that right now because she's sitting right here, but at some point I would like to do that. So if we do decide to order the Hennessy supercharger kit, there will definitely be a video of the before, during, and after, and it will be a lot of fun. Steve Marshall, I just blocked that inflamed walk and talk and rectum exploring new items for fun. Adnan, I don't know anything about the new Tacomas, so I can't give you any insight on that, but I do know that a buddy of mine had a Toyota Taco for 10 years, and it was a good truck for him. Mark Mortensen got a used Jeep for a play toy. Only had it for a week. Jeeps are fun. Walter Matson, he said, nice. I think they're rated for around 12,000 pounds towing. Mine doesn't have the max trailering package on it, but it's still rated for 9,200. And my camper empty is right around 7,000. Oh, Mike Merrifford's got a 34-foot bumper pull camper, and he pulls it with his 2012 Ram 1500 with the 4.7. So I should be in good shape. Warp 65 or maybe double up on the Transcooler for pulling 36 feet. I'm probably going to just hook it up and beat the crap out of it and see what it does. I mean, it'll either go or blow, and whatever blows, I'll fix it. I'm proud deplorable about a 19 Chevy Trail Boss in December. Love the truck, but they didn't put the 6.2 until 2020. King 2042. I wish you guys would use tons converting from pounds. Sorry. In the world of cranes in the United States, it's always been in pounds. Always. Unless you're getting into like 3,000 tons and stuff like that. But once we've always just used pounds for some reason. I don't know. Oh, Steve Marshall, I did have respect for your wife. MJW, almost 5 p.m. I have to go inoculate myself with a fifth of my 80 proof prescription. Thanks for stopping in, MJW. Enjoy your meds. Mike Manford talked to the finance committee first. So he must be talking about the Hennessy supercharger kit. It's It's $6,500 for that supercharger kit. Oh, it can wait. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. But how much fun would 650 horse be in a half-ton crew cab truck? So, yeah. I think it'd be fun. I do have some video footage you guys might want to watch. The only reason I haven't posted it is because I'm a little worried about getting my brother in trouble. He's got a 2018 Mercedes GLS AMG that's got the twin turbo 5.5 V8 in it that's hand built. It's a 7-passenger SUV that goes 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. And it has a top speed, allegedly, it will go 160. We may or may not have found out. And I may or may not have had 3 cameras going while that took place. But we took that car out and flogged it for 30 minutes. We burned a quarter of a tank of fuel in 30 minutes, just beating the dog crap out of it. And I recorded all of it. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to see it? And how do I go about it without getting him in trouble? I guess I could blur out street signs because nobody really knows where we were at. But it was a pretty fun 30 minutes. And then also, if all this other stuff calms down, we're gonna probably be going to Texas in July, and he's also got a 2019 Z06 Corvette that's really fast, and so I'll probably throw some cameras on that while we're down there and record a little bit of footage of that too. Steve Marshall says scroll up a bit. What did I miss? What I miss? I must have missed something. Andy B, you need a pacemaker defibrillator. That's nothing. My old deuce and a half goes 0 to 60 in 6.4 days. Still trying to find whatever Steve Marshall said I need to look at. I don't know. I missed it. Nathaniel E, yes, do it. Jason Helsley, thanks for my internet being stupid. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good night. Good week at work, and stay safe, Jimmy and Mrs. Jimmy. Thanks for tuning in, Jason. Hope you're doing well down there. And take care, my friends. Stay safe out there. Walter Matson, don't do that again. You have a family. I wasn't driving, so I didn't have much control over that.
Thank you for that.
Matt Lee, a little fun in this time would be good to see. King 2042 flip the video, then people will think you're in England. Steve Marshall exploring new items for fun. Oh, yeah, that guy can go away. Zen Watson, have you ever looked at the Unimogs by Mercedes? I would love to have a Unimog, but I don't know what I would do with it. David Riccone, Street Outlaws to the Top Crane style. But yeah, Walter Matson, that little backstory on me, and there's not a lot of people that know this. I mean, I'm going to let you guys into a part of my life that there's not a lot of people that know about it. But back in 2018, I used to travel all over the country, and I was young and stupid, and I bought a brand new 6-speed Trans Am and thought I was bulletproof, young and stupid. And I wrecked it out in Idaho going 120 miles an hour. And that car destroyed itself all around me. And I walked away from it. But ever since then, I've got this phobia of going triple digits unless I'm in like an airplane or something. So even, in the video in my brother's Mercedes, you could tell that I was pretty apprehensive. And he even commented about it. He's like, he said, I could tell you were having a little bit of PTSD with that. And it's because I lawn darted that Trans Am going 120 miles an hour. What had happened with that Trans Am is I was on a 2-lane highway showing off out in Idaho. And in Idaho, they don't have bridges over their irrigation canals. Well, it's a bridge, but it's a big hump in the road. So I hit one of those and I jumped 98 feet and lost control of it and fireballed the car. So ever since then, my triple digit days are pretty well done. I've only done triple digits a couple times, and that was getting caught passing someone and having to get around them and whatnot. But however, acceleration, I still have a thing for 0 to 60 and even like 0 to 80. I do like feeling torque and acceleration, but I'm not real big on top speed. Man, what's the deal with bringing in the crazies tonight? Yeah. Mike Manford is on it tonight, though, as far as keeping the chat cleaned up. But anyway, I've got all that footage, and it's literally 30 minutes of footage. I would probably trim it out and cut some of it here and there, maybe try to make it a 10-minute video. So I could turn out a 10-minute video of us just beating the crap out of a virtually new 7-passenger Mercedes AMG SUV, if you guys want to see it. Also, we're closing in. We're over 2 hours. You're missing your show, honey.
Stevie Arden.
Oh, you're not missing your show. You're recording your show. So anyway, I'll work on some of that. Maybe we'll work through that. Mike Manford, Blue Wrench has got your back, Jimmy. Yeah, we'll work on some of that footage. I don't know what I've got to put up next. I've got so much stuff. Josh Wellner has Thor's hammer coming. I'll show you a picture again. I showed it earlier, but Josh, there's the hammer. Come on, focus. Focus. It's not focusing. Well, you get the gist of it. There's about 8 more plates to put on it. Walter Matt said it would be fun to see you give your wife a hug every day for us. Jesse Rowan, who's this Jimmy guy? This Jimmy guy's me. I'm Jimmy. Also, I guess I could shoot some footage of the new truck that I've got now, if you guys want to see that. I mean, it's just right now it's just a stock 2017 GMC Sierra Denali. And Watts, imagine the Tadano doing triple digits would be insane. The only way that Tadano is ever going to do triple digits is if you drive it off a cliff. It won't go 60, but you can measure the 0 to 50 time with a sundial. That thing it's terribly slow, but it's also big, so it's doing what it can. Steve Marshall, I've been told, don't try to play dumb. You're not good at it. Oh, Mike Manford wants to see the GMC. Andy B says that thanks for a great chat, everybody. To the top wife, thanks for helping sick people. Proud Deplorable just got here a bit ago. All the craziness, slow down business. I imagine it's going to slow down a little bit, but we're still working. As in Watts, it's great for a game of chicken. I actually played a game of chicken with a guy in a pickup one day on a job site, and he was driving towards me, and I was driving towards him, and I couldn't get over anymore, and I wasn't stopping. He finally figured out that I wasn't stopping, so he slammed on his brakes and threw his truck in reverse and got out of the way. So, gross vehicle weight and the one with the most lug nuts wins. So there's that. King 2042, I got to go get some sleep. Have fun. Stay safe. Oh, and thank you, Mrs. Jimmy, for the level-headed info. You stay safe over there as well, and thanks for tuning in. Oh, Steve Marshall by police officer in Missoula. Southern Dirt, how are you? Dalton Feeks, the crane will never hit top speed. Will burn more fuel than they can make. It is pretty thirsty. But anyway, with that, we're 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm going to get some more stuff edited and uploaded. I'll work on the Mercedes video. I'll shoot some footage of the old GMC. Taking volunteers from anybody in the area that wants to run a 7-inch angle grinder. That would go a long ways to getting the hammer done. So there's that. If someone is in the area and they want to work on some fabricating in my garage, shoot me an email. So, but with that, everybody out there, stay safe. I know this is rough times for everybody, and we are all in this together. This isn't a political thing. This isn't a race thing. This isn't a demographic thing. This is a thing that's affecting all of humanity. So do what you can to avoid it. Do what you can to avoid spreading it. Wash these. Try not to touch your face. All that fun stuff. Support your medical personnel because they are running ragged and it's only getting worse. So, Matt Lee, thanks for playing along, Jimmy. Like button pushed. I appreciate all of you guys that tune in and watch this channel. Let's say, Jimmy, if you ever want to fly someone, you can fly me right off the end of the crane. I've had people 250 feet up, 240. But anyway, I appreciate everybody that partakes in this, that shares it with their friends and co-workers. And because of all of you, this channel is growing to what it has become, and it's growing every day. So you guys keep me humble. The world right now is kind of keeping us all insane. So try to stay level-headed. Don't hoard toilet paper. If people would quit hoarding and go back to their regular purchasing, then everybody could have some. So anyway, thank you all. Stay safe. With that, Two Top Cranes out.